I was having a conversation with someone, it was actually just this afternoon, and they were talking through all the metrics that they're measuring and all the technology that they're using and all the ad channels that they're using and the amount of budget that they're doing and the amount of leads that they're collecting. And it just felt like one big type of it just feels like a machine where prospects are numbers and things like that. And then I looked at them and was like, but do you even check whether or not people are consuming the message, like that you're actually effectively communicating with your buyers? And so that is the most, the most overlooked part of demand gen in B2B is the idea that you actually have to create information and then that information gets communicated to your buyer and the buyer understands it. And there's actually a lot of complexity in that, and I'm surprised at how few people do it. Marketers usually don't look at this because they think that it's the responsibility of the sales team to do that. But I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's 2021. Marketing needs to be able to communicate these things to buyers and drive buying processes at scale. And so, if you really simplify down to the true definition or the key important part in demand gen for me, it's that marketers need to open up direct lines of communication with their customers through whatever channel, right? Podcast, Facebook ads, LinkedIn ads, LinkedIn organic, email, doing a weekly meetup that isn't recorded for a podcast. There's plenty of different ways, but you need to open up direct lines of communication with customers. You need to have that place where you're putting messages out and people are receptive to them and consuming the message, and then they're learning something. And so there's two components here. There's one is the message, and then the second part is the distribution to whether or not it's actually being consumed. And so I had a couple examples. We've been talking a bit about how companies don't invest enough in content and creative. They invest enough in SEO content. But if you're looking to go and win in dark social, you actually need completely different content from a overall like strategy, format, different things like that. And so real quick story, I was talking to the company and they brought up the idea that they were running a lot of display ads and they were using it for, they were like, yeah, and we're doing it all for air cover. It's like $15,000 a month. And when anyone mentions the term air cover as a B2B marketer, what that means is that those campaigns definitely don't drive results. It's like, we can't measure it. We don't care. It's just air cover. We'll just throw it out there and not scrutinize it at all. Yeah, and so I think the reason that it's overlooked, I kind of alluded to it before, is that historically marketers were not really responsible for, they didn't think that they were responsible for doing this, but marketing's always been responsible for communicating messages to buyers. But in B2B, for whatever reason, it's been about collecting contacts to give to your sales team to do sales. And so the unlock for me when I first started to look at this stuff was that in 2017, I was running gated content with what I thought was a very effective piece of content to my buyers through Facebook and LinkedIn ads, where they would actually download the content and then they would get pushed through into HubSpot marketing automation and then get an email with the content. And then I tracked how many people actually opened the PDF. And less than 1 out of 10 people did it, even opened it, let alone read a significant part of it. And that was the moment that I realized it's not only about collecting the email address, it's about, is this message being consumed? And that brought me down a whole track of ungating content, trying to do more work natively inside of the feed, just seeing how much more effective as you work within the way that buyers want to use the platforms, how much more effective you can communicate with them. So I've been trying to help people, specifically leadership, understand this in a different way, which is if this is executed effectively, you're basically running sales at scale. Where instead of putting prospects in a meeting when they don't want to be in a meeting and they're not that interested in buying, and then having your sales rep try and tell them things when they're not that receptive to them. So instead of doing that, just having your marketing team communicate all the things that your salesperson would in person at scale to all of your buyers, so that all the market knows more about those things. And you're basically, if done effectively, running a new form of a demo to your customers all the time, in a way that's just flat out more effective and more cost efficient to do it. And so before, if you look at like a traditional funnel, sales was the main filter for stuff. So marketing just generated MQLs, and then sales was then filtering out, are these people good? Do they want to buy? Which created tons of inefficiencies at the SDR level and the AE level to process through people. And if you just looked at the data, you would be able to predict that these people are not going to buy because the patterns are there. And so instead of doing that in 2018, around there, I made the decision that as a marketer, I will be the filter for my sales team. So instead of my sales team needing to spend 30 minutes, 2 hours, months of time running the sales process that will most likely move to close lost, I will do that for them, and I will prioritize the ones that they have a very high probability to win. And with the rest of their time, they probably have things that they could do that are a lot more productive than following up with marketing leads that don't close. And so it's just a different way of looking at it here. And I think just a more modern way to go to market. Hey everyone, this is Chris Walker, the CEO of Refine Labs. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you enjoyed it, feel free to like, comment, or subscribe to the channel for more videos in the future. We're also live for Demand Gen Live at 7:30 p.m. Eastern every Tuesday night, which will also go on the State of Demand Gen podcast, which is available on Apple and Spotify. Thanks again, and see you next time.